people who are coming out of the prison and jail system back into our communities. And, you know, the beauty of Ross is that, you know, he connects with all communities. And when the violence broke out here in the Western Addition and the Fillmore, where the schools started closing, where they were really in need of pulling folks together and organizing within the community, Ross, Cheryl Davis and others, Sakina, started an organization so many of you call Mo Magic. And it's really grown.
I'm going to repeat any of this, but Ross has really gone above and beyond to support this community in so many different ways, whether it be to show up at an event, whether it be to help someone with housing, to help someone with a job, to help someone with support, you name it, he's been there. He's been there to listen. He's been there to give out his cards. He's been there to lend his support. His staff has always been supportive and comfortable with working with the community, and I truly, truly appreciate that, more so because of the, well, I won't mention the past, but this is the first time in District 5 that we've had a supervisor that has been so responsive to this community, and I am just the Mo Magic family and the Western Addition, you know, and the hardcore folks who kind of hang out at the center and all over the district. You know, I'm here to represent them, and they love Ross to death, and they support Ross wholeheartedly, and we will continue to walk precincts if necessary, fight for Ross, volunteer, make phone calls. So just don't forget your monthly checks and your monthly support. Just a little time goes a long way. So thank you, Ross, for everything.
The next person I'd like to bring up is the President of the Board of Supervisors, a friend, and someone who I have had great pleasure working together in the North Beach community, and you all know who he is, Supervisor Aaron.
Thank you, Michael. You know, Paul Osaki asked, why were we all here tonight? And I was wondering, because the reality is it must be terrible to be running for re-election and not have an opponent. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because Ross is the quintessential district supervisor. But I've got a few secrets to share with you. Everybody thinks that Ross hails from District 5, but nothing could be further from the truth. 8 years ago, on the eve of a sea change in San Francisco politics, when we were about to have district elections, 7 people were about to be swept out of office. A change that has not been seen in a half a century was about to happen, and Ross Mirkarimi lived in District 3. And Ross Mirkarimi and I got together, and he said, I'm thinking about running for District 3 supervisor. And I was scared to death. Is loquacious. Every Board of Supervisors meeting, I keep a list of words that I am absolutely sure that he utters that do not exist in the English language. And I have my staff, every time we have a bet, I have my staff look. And 2/3 of the time, it's actually in the dictionary. It actually exists. I'll tell you another thing about Ross. Everybody thinks Ross is hip. Ross is the squarest guy in all of San Francisco. It is absolutely true. You know, I got to tell you something. I always said, Ross, you got to get a life. But I got to tell you, politics and taking care of the community is Ross's life. I have Ross's direct extension. I could give it to all of you. And when I call, because I have a thought at 10 o'clock after that third cocktail, and I want to leave it for Ross, the guy picks up the phone, he's still in his office. He returns all of his emails by himself. I don't know how you do it with two staff. I look at them. I just saw Patrick Monk. I said, I opened 2/3 of your email. Run this supervisor in the year 2000, and I think that there may come a day when Ross Mirkarimi is the chief executive of this city. I look forward to supporting you.
Quick shout out to my nephew and the youngest Ross supporter here tonight, Cole Zarin Anderson. Cole, will you raise your hands so everybody can see you? We'll get him involved in politics very early. I want to also acknowledge that former Mayor Willie L. Brown is in the house. And, I just want you all to understand that this project broke ground during Mayor Newsom's administration, and it was a relay race. Mayor Brown handed it off to him with the lead, and Gavin's administration helped us finish this up. What you don't know, a very interesting thing, when we were planning for the grand opening, Mayor Brown happened to be going to China during that time, but he actually came and pre-recorded a greeting for us on the stage before the place was done, and did an eloquent job of that, and then we showed that on a big screen the night of the grand opening, and we're very pleased that he could join us tonight. I'm sure Ross is, and like Ross, he's been a great help to me in the things that we're trying to do here in the city. Willie, look. Thank you. The next person that we're going to bring up, I got to know when he was one of the highest ranking people in the West Coast with Department of Housing and Urban Development. I didn't have a chance to work with him as a former mayor, but he has continued to be a very important figure in the activities in the city. Former mayor Art Agnes.
I don't know what it says about this crowd tonight. Maybe we should call it a mayoral crowd, that we've got two former mayors here to celebrate and kick off the campaign for a supervisor in his second term. It certainly is well-deserved and earned. But before I go into that, I just want to say at the end of this year, San Francisco is going to lose a truly outstanding leader in our city government and the outgoing president of the Board of Supervisors, Aaron Peskin. San Francisco. Ross's record says exactly that. Look at it. In education, when the San Francisco Unified School District proposed closing 6 public schools in the Western Addition alone, including every single elementary school in District 5, it resonated throughout all of San Francisco because every neighborhood was going through the very same thing. Supervisor Ross, every step of the way on those decisions that are going to affect them in the immediate and long-term future. It's because Ross understands the impact of development, that when it goes forward in this city, whether it's Treasure Island, South of Market, Rincon Hill, Bayview, Hunters Point, or any neighborhood infill, the rule must be that the needs of San Francisco and its neighborhoods are the top priority for city government, not profits, large corporations, and large institutions. That's why Ross made sure that the redevelopment agency has completed and fulfilled every commitment it made over the last 40 years to the Western Addition as it gets ready to leave the Fillmore after 40 years. That is why in Japantown he led the effort to create a special use district so that the integrity of that important part of our community and our city was preserved for all of San Francisco. In environmental issues, Ross has been a leader, as you heard from the preceding speakers, for more than 20 years in every phase of government, long before the environment, long before he got into public